So if bad iron shots are ruining your golf with fats, with thins, toe strikes, heel strikes, and very occasionally you get that one that's flushed out the middle but you've got no idea, today's video I'm going to fix all that. I'm going to give you 3 little exercises to work on that are going to guarantee that you get ball and then turf out the middle of the club face, get the ball going at the target, control that distance better, and ultimately score better than ever. So I don't think there's many better feelings in golf that you've hit that perfect tee shot in the fairway, you've got an iron in your hand, and you absolutely rip one at the target. Good strike, good distance, and good accuracy. But we saw the strikes at the introduction to the video, anything other than that flush one. Now, I'm going to work on 3 drills in today's video that's going to help you develop that nice consistent ball striking that's going to help you hit more shots like that. So I want you to think about your golf swing as a big circle. So obviously the club's moving up, down, and then back up. So when the golf ball's on the ground, we need the lowest point of the swing to be after the ball so that the club travels down and hits ball and then turf. We also need the height of the swing to be good so that we don't make a great low point control swing and hit halfway at the ball, but equally we don't want to be too low where the club would catch the ground behind the ball anyway. And then we also want to start hitting the ball more out the middle of the club face. So the first exercise we're going to work on is probably the one I work on with 90% of golfers. So we need to make sure that when we swing the club, we're going to get the lowest point of our swing after the golf ball. And the little drill I want you to do is, as a practice swing, set up with the club where you would be, level with the ball. And then I want you to pull your front foot back so it's level with the golf ball. And then as you make your backswing, the hands are going to opposite your chest. You're going to step across and swing down. And you can see straight away there, I touch the ground after the golf ball. So do 2 or 3 of those. And you'll straight away notice you start touching the ground much further ahead, and that's because we're starting to shift our weight and our pressure, particularly with the lower body, more towards the target. So once you've done a few practice swings, you're going to set up to the golf ball and not worry about full speed at this point. You're then going to move that foot back and then do what we did for the practice swing. And I'm not worried about accuracy on this shot, but we can see there, low point 3.7 inches after the golf ball. I'm going to do one more slightly slower. Again, the contact feels amazing. And we can see there, 4.2 inches after the ball. Now, some of you might watch the video, be working through it with me and say, I might just play golf like that. You don't need to. All we're then going to do is we're going to keep the feet separate. As you make the backswing, you're going to feel like you really press your left foot down really hard into the ground and then swing down. And we can see straight away there, low point 5.1 inches ahead. Even though it's not out the middle of the club face, we're still seeing 156 yards carry. And we'll do that again, maybe with a little bit more speed in this one. And again, contact felt lovely. Out the middle of the club face, low point 5 inches ahead, and 168 yards carry. So if you are a golfer who struggles with fats, thins, tops, poor strikes, first thing you need to be working on is feeling the mass of the body moving more towards the target in the downswing. And that little step drill is a fantastic way of exaggerating the feel, and that very smoothly will move us on to step 2. But just before we get on to step 2, if you are watching this video and you're enjoying it, I'd love it if you liked it and shared it. If you don't currently subscribe to the channel, really appreciate you subscribing. The more you guys interact with the videos, YouTube will push those videos out there, and it'll help me help more golfers play better golf. Now, step 2 is all about the height the club comes back at. So obviously if it comes back too high, we would top the ball. Even if the low point was great, a little lower within it, just the right height, the perfect strike, and too low, the ground gets in the way too early. So when we look down the line, the big reason a lot of golfers struggle controlling height is they're not able to maintain the posture angles that they have at address. So what they'll do is they'll work on turning the shoulders, and the left shoulder works up, and they stand up out of posture, and then if they swing back, they'd miss it. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to get back down to the golf ball, and it is so difficult to get that just right. So if the club was up in the air and the ball was up kind of shoulder height, you'd be able to turn your shoulders, and it's dead easy to get the club passing through the same point. But because we lean forward or tilt forward, we actually need to get some tilt into the shoulders. So what we want to feel as a practice swing again is we're going to feel left shoulder goes down. You're then going to shift towards the target and right shoulder down. So, and you'll hear straight away how the contact with the ground became really, really consistent. So then you might take a little bit of speed out and say, right, into the golf ball, just focus on left shoulder down, shift, right shoulder down. Now the contact with the ground was great. Wasn't out the middle of the club face, which will lead us on to point 2 or exercise 3 shortly. But certainly there, ball and then ground, really lovely, absolutely live with that. So again, we're going to go left shoulder down, shift, right shoulder down. There we go. Doesn't get much better than that. So out the middle of the club face, 4.8 inches after, 170 yards carry. And that really doesn't feel like I'm putting a massive amount of speed into that. That's just being very efficient there, at delivering the club correctly so I get ball and then ground, being at the right height so that I catch the middle of the club face, and then also on that one, pretty near the middle. So, last one, thinking about the tilt, I'm going to put a little bit more speed in and see if we can maintain everything. Felt a little quicker, love the strike, love the low point, love the height, and 174 yards carry. Now, for stage 3. And what I would say, actually, is if you are somebody that struggles with your irons, you might need to work on all 3 of these drills. You might find that just one particular drill is what you need, so then you work on that one. But work through all of them to begin with, and you'll see which one you struggle with. So the final drill is getting centeredness of strike. So I'm going to use 2 alignment sticks, but you could use tees on the ground, head covers, whatever you want. And I'm going to create a little lane, probably a little bit wider than the club head. And I'm going to be maybe a little bit generous to begin with. And the idea is that we're going to whip the ball out of there, and we're going to make a swing and see if we can touch the ground and miss both sticks. Now, obviously, if you're somebody who tends to get it towards the heel, you'll tend to touch the outside or clean it out altogether. If you're like me and the strike tends to be a little bit more towards the toe, I'm getting the club a bit closer to me, so it's always kind of this near stick that tends to be the issue. So we're going to set up, take some speed out and make some swings. That was perfect. Now, I know with me what tends to happen is I kind of move quite nicely there. I get the hands a little bit closer to me, so the club comes a bit closer and I would touch the cane. Had somebody in last week who very much, decent on the way back, but because he was working so hard on swinging from the inside, he was just clearing that out and just hitting everything out the heel and the hosel. So once you do a few practice swings, I'd be generous to begin with. We're going to pop a ball in there, in the middle, and you're going to make your swing. See, can I do what I've been doing and miss both of those canes? So we're going to set up. That was nice, and we definitely don't want that one back. We see out the middle of the club face, 5.2 inches after, into the ground, and 173 yards carry. And again, it doesn't really feel like I'm putting too much effort into that or too much speed. Definitely feel there's a bit more in the locker. Let's go one more bit quicker. Again, right out the middle of the club face, 4.2 inches after, 179 carry. Now I'm sure I'll get some comments, anyone looking down the line, they'll say that gap's too generous. Yeah, okay, maybe. Let's bring it a bit tighter. So let's get right in there. So I'm probably 1.5 club widths. A little bit tighter there. Get that ball in the middle. Still fairly generous, but a little tougher. And I like the fact that you can maybe make that a little bit more challenging for yourself. Can I still get that good move? And can I still miss both canes? Now, definitely missed both canes. Low point was ahead, but definitely got a little bit too low there. So I actually did catch the ground slightly early. So we're going to do one more with the slightly more challenging lane. That felt great. 4 inches after, out the middle of the club face. Definitely got a little bit into the mat and 171 yards carry. Right, so you've worked through the 3 drills. So then it's all down to can you do it when it counts. So ball on the ground. Got my little thoughts, little feelings. That felt really, really solid. So we can see middle of the club face, nice and straight, 4.1 inches after and 169 yards carry. So I opened the video with every golfer has a bad iron swing until they master these things. So it's really simple, isn't it? Really simple, not easy. That as long as you get that low point after the golf ball, you're going to get ball and then turf. As long as you can get tilting those shoulders to keep you in posture, you're going to get the height of the swing correct. And then by working on the 2 drills, the lane, we're going to get the middle of the club face. And if you can get those correct, you're going to hit the best iron shots of your life. Get the ball nearer the flag. Get those scores down. And maybe, just maybe, win the money.